Brothers, how's it going? Corgi Circus here. We're gonna be doing a different type of video today, a little bit more of an instructional take. So some of you veterans might know some of this information, but I did get a DM, if you will, requesting just kind of like, hey, how do you know when to attack this? And what are you looking for in the expansion path? So this is kind of going to be one of those videos. I'm going to try and make it a series. If you guys like this kind of videos, please let me know. I'm happy to make more, and we'll jump right in the video. Brothers, welcome back to Territorial.io. I thought we'd do something a little bit special today and really dive deep into how to win a Europe free-for-all. So my spot is always in the northeast. It really allows for a great opportunity to gain a lot of land and kind of snowball from there. The problems with going in Central Europe is often people get kind of hemmed in with each other. They don't get that big and they kind of get stuck. And the thing with Africa is that it's kind of the opposite of that. There's not a lot of people who go down there, but it's the same problem. You get a couple to 2 to 3 very large players who again can't do anything because they're against each other's borders. So this is kind of my ideal spot. Now with this, we like to kind of pick a spot with a lot of open area in terms of bots, but don't be afraid of going where the bots are. You just want to make sure you're not next to a player. So with this, we try and do our normal free expansion. If you want to see kind of more examples on that, feel free to check out some of my other videos. But basically the gist of it is the first attack is 25% and then we go up to 50 until we essentially run out of land. And from here, we are just targeting low bots. And this is kind of the big strategy with this one is in these free-for-alls, you do not want to be too aggressive in the expansion paths that you take. You want to take as much land as possible while not exposing yourself to having low troops because you're going to run into a lot of people very quickly. So you really kind of want to save up to about 100,000, then you can be a little bit more aggressive, but and always keeping an eye on where your other players are. So for this instance, Frag is right above us, so we're going to want to cut him off and gain all of this land. This is where our opportunity for bots is, and the smaller we can make him, the easier it's going to be to take him out in the long run. So we're going to be really aggressive of going out over here. And then some people would want to attack this person right now. And I would say that is kind of the strategy you want to go with. He's at 20,000. It is a little bit of a risk, but when you look around in comparison to the rest of our players, we're kind of in line with them. So hitting him initially is going to help out a lot. And then we can kind of just go from here. So having all of this land is really putting us in the driver's seat of our own destiny. Now, what a lot of people like to do as they turn this one advantage and they want to turn it immediately into another one. For instance, let's say attacking Slicer. I go on the strategy of be friends with everybody and let somebody else go first. Because the problem with these free-for-alls is people really like to dogpile. So let's say I could easily take out Slicer, but that is going to expose me to a lot of weakness. So we are going to just be very cautious and let someone else go first. So looking around, our biggest opportunity is player 554. But again, there's not going to be a lot for us to gain out of that. If he full sends us, it's going to be pretty detrimental. And whenever people send you a request to attack, you say, I'm in, but let them go first. Let them charge first. There's no reason for you to go in on someone until you're really at red interest, especially when you already have the crown. There's not a lot to gain. Now, obviously that changes if there's a crown next to you. But for the meantime, we don't have that. We are going to go in on Slicer because we are close to red interest. And the best way to do this is when you look at that, how do I get the best borders with him? So we boated over there for that exact purpose. And Elite is attacking as well. The worst thing you can do is get in a position where someone goats you into attacking and then they don't attack and they're just looking to reap all the benefits from a full send. But Slicer's weak enough to the point where we're not worried about a full send anymore. He's probably going to full send, but as you can see, it doesn't do anything because we were patient with our troops. And so we gain a lot of land out of this. We'll just go ahead and attack him right now. He is pretty weak, so that is a good opportunity for us. Not a lot of people had good borders on him, so that worked out really well for us, and we can continue to push down here where there's a lot of weak players. Typically, you want to push into the second strongest person around you, but when you have an opportunity to snowball into a lot of weak players, you take it. Now in this situation, Bozo land is very strong, so we need to be very cognizant of that. He's offering us alliance, and we are definitely going to take that. And I think Nick is a good target. Elite is already attacking him, so we'll just be patient on that. Let them kind of build, go back and forth a little bit, weaken his troops, and then go in on him. So reason for this is we want Elite to also stay weak. We don't want him to get too strong, so we'll let him kind of fade to the wind a little bit on his own. And we get a lot more land out of this because he didn't realize we were attacking. And we're going to be able to cut down south here, which is really good for us. Now, player 903 getting very strong is super concerning. I do want to attack him pretty immediately. He is the second strongest player, and he's going to get very strong very quickly just by the amount of troops that he has. Now, I did take a big risk here. Okay, so Elite did betray us. That's fine. We had high enough troops to put us in a good position where we weren't concerned with that. Now, we could go down to Bozo land, or we could go into 903. I'm concerned with 903. Typically, I would say let's go south and limit the amount of people that you are bordering. That's kind of always the goal you want to keep in mind. But for this exact scenario where the second strongest player is right there, I'm going to take him out because the people behind him are not that strong. And if I can get this guy out of here, then I'll be sitting at about 30 million troops. And they've been infighting this whole game. So when they're infighting, you know, they're more likely to not want to attack you. He full sends Bozo land, which is really good because Bozo land is not attacking. You know, that's something that people get really frustrated with when the crowd's attacking them. They're like, why aren't you helping? So we're immediately going to push into OTR. He is, again, the second strongest. And we're at a position where not everyone can touch us. There's only 2 players that can. So let's keep it that way and just take out OTR. He full sends us. That's really good. Now here comes the dangerous part, is we're probably going to be touching borders with everybody, or at least 3 players. So again, we're going to want to just take out the second strongest. With this strategy, we are so strong, we're in such a dominant position that if we can take out 1 more player, we win the game, and that is the second strongest. So that's going to be our focus. Are we probably going to get attacked by player 723 and Bozo land? Absolutely, that is definitely coming, but we want to limit 207's ability to attack us by getting him down now. When the other 2 players attack us, it is going to be painful, but we just want to keep our focus in on 1 player. The worst thing you can possibly do is start attacking everyone that attacks you, and you really divide your troops. It doesn't really help out that much. Everyone gets the opportunity to get a little bit stronger. Whereas when you focus in on 1 player, you can get them down weak enough where maybe their neighbor says, hey, I can actually get some land out of this, and they'll start attacking. But be on the lookout for probably another attack. I'm expecting all 3 of our the 2 to start attacking us. Bozo still hasn't attacked us, so this is a really good position. So we're just going to keep attacking. Now, how you attack is when you look at the green/red bar at the top. What I like to do is get to about this little bit less than 25% on the green bar at the bottom, which is how many troops you're sending, and then send on the hash mark, the half. When that white bar is filling up, you want to send on the half of that. The reason for that being is your attack will finish right before the white bar fills up. And when the white bar fills up, you get more troops based off the amount of land that you do have. So taking into account of that, you're getting the interest off all the land you get from your attack and then rebuilding. So even with 3 people attacking us, we're still able to field a pretty strong amount of troops. And this guy's already down to 1 million. So this game is pretty much over. We can sit back and build up from here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and push my advantage into this purple player. Of course, grabbing free land when it is available, because he only has 2 million, and grabbing this is really absolutely securing the victory. There's no point at this. And remember when I was saying earlier that if you weaken their neighbor, the other neighbor might attack. Player 723 goes in on the purple player, and at this point, the game is over. All we have to do is wrap it up and finish off the remaining, because these 2 guys' strength combined is nowhere near strong enough to take us out. So at this point, we're just going to finish off this 1 player. Bozo land has not attacked us. I think we're just going to peace out because he has been an absolute bro. Really helped us out. And say, thank you, bud. Appreciate you. And peace out on this one. So GG's to everyone involved. And we'll be on to the next one. Alrighty. So we are back in Europe. We're facing 59 players. Again, it's another free-for-all. This is a back-to-back map. So what we're going to be looking for is just kind of see what develops from here. We're going to be picking a good spot. Our spot is really good right now. We're nice and centralized in kind of the middle area where there's 3 players up at the top. So they are going to be fighting against themselves. Meanwhile, we're going to be able to come in at the end when they've been fighting each other and weakening each other up, and we'll be able to take advantage of that. So in the meantime, we're going to be doing our aggressive growth strategy. So again, 25% for the first attack and then 50 for the ones after that. You can narrow it down a little bit more, but we'll get into that in another video. For right now, if you're just starting out, 50 is going to be good enough. And if you see someone immediately, always truce with them. Sometimes, you know, most people don't accept an early truce. They want to see how things line up. But if you can get that early truce, even from like a weak player, they're less likely to full send you later on in the game. So we try and get up to about 6,500 before we do our free-for-all just kind of growth pattern. But as you can see there, we were just getting hemmed in. And so we just went ahead and did that a little bit earlier just to make sure we got through the bots and got a little bit of extra land. So again, and what we're looking for here is making sure that we have a ton of troops and attacking bots that have ideally 100 to, you know, less than 1,000. Sometimes that changes. You might be wondering, why does that change? Well, the bots themselves are attacking, so when their attack finishes, they will get all their troops back, or their interest rate refreshes and they get the troops from the interest. So same strategy here. We do end up with the crown once more. And we do have a lot of troops in comparison to everyone around us. So as you can see, player 858 definitely won the fight against the person he was playing, but is very weak himself. He only has about 50,000 troops. So in this situation, again, we could get him very quickly, but I think the best strategy here is to just peace up with everybody around us. And even the people that, you know, don't necessarily touch borders with us, we'll peace with them and just kind of look for an easy target. Right now, Lucky is looking really good. And Nigeria might be wanting to go in on that one as well. So we will just keep an eye out. Now, the reason you don't want to dive into an attack is right here. Empire of Japan just attacked somebody. So what we're looking for here is to see if anybody's going to dogpile on this guy and go in after him. Because if he keeps going after Jab, he's going to put himself in a very weak position. So we don't want to jump the shark too early and put ourselves in a position where we can't come back when the best strategy is just sitting back and building up troops. You know, ideally you want to be at 1 million. 1 million is kind of that point where in people's minds they say, okay, you big, I ain't going to mess with you. So Jab full sent Empire of Japan. Empire of Japan is very weak, so we are looking for an attack there, see if anybody does it. But hey, we're at 1 million. Let's just go ahead and lead the charge. People are going to want to join in on this, and if they don't, it's going to be okay. We have so many troops in comparison that, especially when you're looking around everyone, that if he does full send us, we'll still be stronger than everybody else. So that's why I'm taking the risk here. I am probably going to eat a full send, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to gain more land and still be the strongest one of my neighbors. So I am a little bit surprised that people aren't wanting to join in on this. I think they're waiting for the full send. I think there is a fine line between how aggressive, you know, how much you want to sit back and let other things happen versus if you don't do anything, then you get stuck. If everyone around you just constantly builds up and there's no like drama, then you'll get stuck and then someone from across the map is going to come in. But we're sitting at about 2.5 million, so I think it's now time to get on Lucky. Lucky and Nigeria have been fighting, and he's down to less than 1 million. Player 858's also sent a boat, so I'm definitely going to jump in on this. There is always that you always want to be looking for the opportunity to grow. You can't always have those handed to you. Waiting for the dog pile is especially true in the mid game or in the early mid game, but right now, you know, this is kind of the point where now you're looking for people to attack. You want to encourage other people to attack. Nigeria is very weak. Let's try and get some boys in on this. Like, let's go. Yeah, I'm your friend. And yeah, he's in on it too, so this is a great opportunity. We do have really good borders with this guy as well. So that taking that little part of Finland and up there really gives us an opportunity to get a lot of land. If we had not boated in, I wouldn't advise this attack because he would probably full send us and we would get nothing. Creative name would probably get the most of it. But he full sends player 858 because player 858 was the first person to attack. As is tradition, most people do a full send the person who attacks him first. So that's kind of why you never want to attack first unless you have such a strong advantage that it won't matter. And player 858 leaves, which is really good for us. Now, at this point, I really want to turn my attention to Turkestan. I have amazing borders with him. I have the best borders with him of anyone. I'm at a very high troop count. So even if he full sends me, I'm gaining most of the land back and I am at full percent. So we are going to do some small attacks to try and goad him into giving us a full send. I don't want to attack too aggressively because then I will be at less troops and the full send will hurt more. So he's threatening to boom me right now, which is basically he's threatening to full send me. And so I'm just trying to goat that out right now and say, do it. I honestly want him to full send me, again, because I'm in such a strong position to get all of his land back. He's only at 2 million, I'm at 5. Looking around at our neighbors, you know, they still have about the same troops as us. So we will just kind of keep goading him in. There's the full send that we wanted. As you can see, we are sitting at about 7 million troops at the end of it. So we really didn't lose anything. And all of our neighbors are very weak. So now we'll turn our attention to this guy. He's really lost all of his troops. He's been in a hard fight down there. So we get a lot of free land here. Now, looking at this, the person we don't want to attack is probably, oh, there's a full send. Okay, we'll definitely jump in on this. So creative name, maintenance empire are both people that we want to attack. But this white player, David Morgan, is kind of a big concern. Now we could attack, okay, so he's gonna go in on creative. We have a lot better borders on creative, so I think we'll get this guy. Okay, he leaves. And now we gotta really turn our attention. Well, you know what, we'll help out. We'll see if we can get this maintenance dominance guy down here. Maintain dominance, excuse me. But David Morgan is the strongest. He does have the crown. So we'll see if maintain dominance full sends and maybe we can get a little bit of that land, and then we will turn our attention southwards. Now, David Morgan is attacking very aggressively. We have a lot more troops than he does because he keeps doing these pretty fast attacks, and I'm just kind of waiting for him to do that full send. He's not going to do it, so we'll just go ahead and jump in here and mop up the rest. And we are bigger in troops than David, so I doubt he will attack us. We just need to be friends with North Europe. So David's immediately going in on North Europe. He's being very aggressive. So let's try and rally the troops and see if anybody's interested in attacking this guy. And now is our opportunity. He is focused and made an enemy out of New Europe. So New Europe is more likely than not to be our friends for the rest of the game because we are coming to his aid. So we will just continuously attack. And as you can see, we almost have the crown. And David Morgan's in a tough spot. He's made 2 enemies right off the bat. And we don't need a lot from New Europe to take control of this fight. And he's continuing to attack New Europe. He realizes he's made an enemy, and you know he's in danger because he's sending us a non-aggression request. And typically when the crown does that, they know they're in trouble, but we already have the crown. Now the beauty of this spot and not attacking New Europe is that we've limited the amount of people that can attack us. The only people that can attack us right now is French Mexico if he has some very aggressive boat strategies, and New Europe. So I'm gonna say, hey New Europe, I'm coming to your rescue, bud. If I can take out David, then I'm going to win the game. And New York's not even in a position to attack me because he's constantly getting attacked. So we will just continue to do these slow attacks like we talked about in the last match. What we're looking for is that green bar at the top. When it gets about halfway full, then we send again, get the interest from all the land, and rinse and repeat. Now you don't necessarily grow from the amount of troops that you're utilizing, but you'll always kind of be at the same as long as no one's attacking you. So we're always going to be attacking with roughly around 22 million troops. As you can see, David is slowly losing his troops. He's already down to 16 million. And he keeps attacking New Europe. I really want to save New Europe because I do not want to open myself up to French Mexico and Romania. So we will just continue to go in on David. If David does full send us, it will be very painful, but we'll still get a lot of land out of it. And more importantly, we'll hopefully make a friend out of New Europe who will likely come to our aid. And if New Europe does full send, we do have pretty good borders on him, so that we'll be able to grab a lot of land should that happen. But I'm really hoping it doesn't. I really want to save New Europe and hopefully carry him to the end, because right now, we're at 23, we're slowly gaining troops, and we have such a huge advantage. When we started this attack, we were just a little bit less than 150,000 pixels, which is the number up to the top left. And now we're at 200,000. So we're doing a really good job. David Morgan is constantly attacking. I am getting a little bit worried about his New York getting destroyed, and we have such a troop advantage. I'm actually going to increase the tax a little bit, just to knock him down to size, hopefully save New Europe. I don't advise this, but in this specific situation, attacking a little bit more often is working out for us. So let's just continue to go in on this. David Morgan full sends, that's really good for us, and we'll finish it off. New Europe's not in a position to really take any of this land. Romania is, and Romania will definitely be our next target, but as you can see, we have the lion's share of everything here. So we will continually push in down here. Romania only has about 6 million troops. We've got about 14 million. So let's go ahead and send another heart to New Europe and make sure that he's on our side. Romania immediately attacks us, as to be expected, but let's go ahead and push back into him. And looking at the board, if he's so low on troops, but he's still pretty high on pixels. So if we wait around for him, we're going to be in danger. Now I am going to boat into Italy to make sure that I get a lot of the land I'm working for. I want to grab all this in Europe as well. I don't want other people to have it, so as much as I can grab, I can. Romania full sends, and then the game is won. All we got to do is take care of Yep. I will probably leave New Europe around. He's been a real bro. If he had turned on us, you know, at the last minute, this could have been a different story, which is why you want to build up relationships in the beginning. But Yep is already gone, so hope you guys learned a lot from this. If you did, let me know. Always appreciate the constructive feedback. If you liked the video, if you wouldn't mind doing me the big favor of giving me a like, hey, maybe subscribe for more. If you like the more educational content, please let me know. I'm happy to do more, but kissy face to our boys. We did it. Nice little easy Europe victory. And I thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.